Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. We've got some really awesome handheld news. Got a couple things that I want to go over, and I will try to make this video kind of quick. But first on the list, we've got a brand new AMD-powered handheld gaming PC coming to the market from a company known as TerransForce. Now, this company has actually made laptops for quite some time, but now they're dipping their toes into the handheld market, and this is known as the TerransForce Handle. This will be powered by an AMD Ryzen Phoenix Point APU with RDNA3 graphics. It's got a 120Hz 1080p 7-inch display. And personally, from what I've seen so far, looks like a solid little handheld, but they may have taken a few design cues from Ioneo and some others, and to tell you the truth, I'm not really blaming them, because when it comes to these horizontal handhelds, not much is really going to change from device to device. May have a different shape here or there, different button placement, maybe some different logos on the buttons, but since we've had so many released on the market, it's really going to be hard to come up with a new design unless you're looking for a folding display, dual displays, sliding display. Something like that does set these handhelds apart from each other, but I can see exactly what they were going for here. And right now, there is quite a bit of information online about the Handle 5, so this is going to be powered by the AMD Ryzen 7 7840U. With that, we get the 780M iGPU, 12 CUs up to 2700 MHz. It's got a 7-inch, 120Hz 1080p display, 100% sRGB. It will support a 2280 M.2 SSD, PCIe 4.0, and I believe from the factory you can pick this up with either 1 or 2 terabytes pre-installed, and going up in the storage will reflect your RAM also. 16 to 32, it's using LPDDR5 at 6400 megatransfers per second, 50.04 watt-hour battery, 100 watt PD fast charging, does have a fingerprint sensor up top, weighs 688 grams, going to be running Windows 11. And they're saying that this will run up to 28 watts. Now, of course, with a third-party application, given that, the cooler they opted to use here is sufficient, we can take that up a bit, but 28 watts with the 7840U is actually a really great performer. 8 cores, 16 threads, up to 5.1 gigahertz. And moving down just a bit more here, a little more information about the I/O. This will support USB 4.0, 40 gigs, so connecting an eGPU would be really easy. Looks like we've got that single USB 4.0 connector up top. And the one thing I was really interested in was the aspect ratio. It is a 7-inch 16:9 aspect ratio display. I know a lot of people are loving the 16:10, but personally, I love that 16:9 ratio. Everything just scales up to it properly. 50 watt-hour battery, so it's not too large. 100 watt PD fast charging, 1 hour up to 80%. So, yeah, if you've got a wall charger or a battery pack that'll do up to 100 watts, you can get this thing charged up pretty quickly. Fingerprint sensor up top, so you can log in really easily with, I guess it's called Hello Windows. Built-in 6-axis gravity sensor, so we do have that gyroscope and accelerometer built in. It does have Wi-Fi 6, and it's going to be using the AX210 chip, so it looks like we'll probably get Bluetooth 5.3 along with this. And with this coming in at 688 grams, it's not the lightest 7-inch handheld on the market. And to tell you the truth, it is coming in heavier than the original Steam Deck and, of course, the OLED, and much heavier than the ROG Ally. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. Now, even with all this information out there, there's still a few things that I'm not sure about. So when it comes to the analog sticks, I don't know if it's going to be using Hall sensors there or even in the triggers up top. But of course, we've got a button layout that'll allow us to play any game, laid out just like most of the other handhelds on the market right now. And even if it has the ALPS analog sticks, they're not bad at all. We've been using them for years. Of course, people do complain about stick drift, but with some software, you can definitely tweak that out. So overall, with the specs we've seen so far, it should be a pretty good performer. We know exactly what the 7840U can do, and especially at 28 watts, this would perform absolutely amazingly. Of course, you still have to deal with battery life, and we've only got a 50 watt-hour battery. So I'd like to know your thoughts. Do you like the look of this thing? Would this be something you'd be interested in at the right price point? Let me know your thoughts down below. And we actually have one more piece of handheld news here. So a lot of us are familiar with ONEX, and recently they announced an eGPU specifically designed for their ONEX players or their handheld gaming devices. It's the ONEXGPU. Seen a lot of images of it. I actually really do like the design. Got some RGB up top. tons of I/O, plus it'll also dub as extra storage because it's got a built-in M.2 slot. And this also supports Oculink, so we can do USB 4, Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt 3, or Oculink, and I really love the fact that these companies coming out with these kind of portable GPUs do offer that. That way we can get much better performance with devices that support Oculink. Most mini PCs, you can install an Oculink adapter and an M.2 slot. So yeah, we could see some great performance out of this. And the fact that they added an extra M.2 slot inside of the unit is pretty cool. That way we can really up the storage on these handhelds. So while you're on the go with your handheld, you can play on the iGPU. And once you get home, you can dock your handheld to the ONEXGPU and up that performance. And when it comes to the availability and specs, right now they're actually running an Indigogo. So heading down here, you can see Indigogo, I guess early bird is going to be $650, and this is going to be powered by an AMD Radeon RX 7600 MXT with 8 GB of GDDR6 VRAM. So we got a good idea of how this is going to perform. Obviously, we've got that 2280 M.2 slot right here. Tons of I/O, and moving down just a bit, RGB lighting up front, 280 watt charging. So, 280 watts in, and it'll do 100 watts out of the USB 4 port. So you can definitely charge up basically anything really quickly. USB 4.0, Oculink running over PCIe 4.0 X4, and this is going to be much faster and more stable than USB 4. So connecting this to a mini PC would be awesome. Also has 2 USB-A ports, 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, 2 display ports, and Ethernet. Couple benchmarks here. Time Spy. On the desktop variant of the RTX 4070, 12,195. On the RX 7600 MXT, 10,542. And this is really great performance. This is the mobile variant of the 7600, hence the M at the end there. And just to put this into perspective for you, on the 7840U APU with the 780M iGPU, highest score I've ever got in Time Spy was around 3,300. So it's a significant jump in performance over those RDNA3 iGPUs. They've also got a few benchmarks listed here. God of War at 74 FPS, Fortnite 74, and this is, 2560 by 1400. Cyberpunk up to 80 there, so if you want to go up to 1440p, you definitely can. And I'll tell you, AMD doesn't advertise the 7600M as a 1440p card, but I do consider it a 1440p high card or 1080p Ultra. This is actually one of my favorite mobile GPUs right now. We've done a bunch of testing on the channel, and yeah, it can definitely handle 1440p AAA gaming. Personally, I really want to get my hands on one of these to do some testing. We're going to be doing some testing over USB 4 with some of the handhelds that only support USB 4. We'll also do a lot of Oculink testing. We can do that with a few handhelds on the market, but I've got a lot of mini PCs that would really benefit from connecting Oculink to something like this. So if I'm able to get my hands on one, I will be doing a lot of testing. Let me know what you want to see running on this eGPU in the comments below, but that's going to wrap it up for this one. Figured I'd go ahead and throw these both in one video. We've got that new and upcoming Teran Force 7-inch RDNA3 powered handheld, and we've also got this Oculink /USB 4 eGPU that's going to go perfect with most of the handhelds on the market right now. Let me know your thoughts on both of these down below, and if you're interested in learning about any of these, I'll leave links in the description. But that's it for this one, and like always, thanks for watching.